Is this the year? Can the Orlando Magic win an NBA championship? Now, it's a tall task for a team that has not advanced in the playoffs. And how long, Kenny? Just give it to me. I know you know right off the gun.
Oh, boy.
It's
My goodness. 2011, 2012, something like that. They've been to the playoffs. They just
was JJ Redick and Jameer Nelson.
It was
squad?
The Dwight era. Yeah. Dwight Howard, Rashad Lewis, Hedo Turkoglu, the good old days. Yeah.
All right. Great guest on the show today to break down the Magic. It's Kenny Morales, Orlando Magic fan, UCF alum, sports broadcaster for a long time in Tampa Bay, knows everything Magic and knows how to talk on camera. So I love to bring him on. The Orlando Magic source. Let's start with Paolo Banchero, man, because this team, I would think, goes as far as he takes them. One of the bright young superstars in the game. Numbers-wise, they're not that much different than Franz Wagner, but you never hear Franz as the dude. It's always Paolo. You assume it's Paolo's team. Is there a sliver of a chance that we're all sleeping on Franz and he ends up being the dude?
I think so, yeah. I think Paolo gets a little bit more of the nod because he was the number one overall pick, and he was kind of that franchise cornerstone that the Magic had been missing for so many years, right? Really going back to the Dwight era, like we were talking about. But Franz, man, you mentioned that the numbers, they're impressive, especially when you look back on when Paolo first went down. I think that was game 4 of last season when he tore the oblique against the Bulls. And Franz took over, and understandably, the Magic kind of had a slump there. They were kind of getting adjusted to life without Paolo, lost like 4 or 5 straight. And then they ripped off 12 of 13. And Franz during that time averaged, I believe it was 27 points, 6 boards, 6 assists, and 2 steals. This dude, he does everything Paolo pretty much does. Like, he's a 3-level scorer. He's really smart, fantastic cutter. I would say the one thing he has on Paolo is I think he's a better decision maker as far as when it comes to playmaking. You watch him, he does a great job of getting in between defenders. The Euro step is phenomenal. It feels like he always finds the right pass to make or when not to take the shot. Whereas Paolo, sometimes it feels like, and understandably, because with the shooters that the Magic have to work with, it seemed like he kind of forced up a lot of stuff, whether he was double teamed, sometimes triple teamed, taking a 15-foot fadeaway when he's 6'10", 250. But when you're working with the amount of space he and Franz have to work with on that Magic team, you kind of understand why the guy was doing it.
One of the beautiful things about the Magic is all these dudes were like stars in college. This is the beautiful thing about having lottery pick after lottery pick after lottery pick. You saw them kind of come through the ringer, and now they're turning into stars in their own right. Anthony Black, former lottery pick. I have his rookie card patch. And the reason I brought you on actually is because the Anthony Hardaway.
Oh, dude, that thing was a beaut.
It pulled it out of the Prism Black, and I don't know how much it's worth, but I'll tell you what, the way that the white collides with those old school Magic uniforms, that thing numbered, it's not going anywhere. That's a keepsake for me.
It has to be, man. I got a Penny Hardaway jersey in my closet over here. That's one of my favorite. Those black unis with the white pinstripes.
Elite, man. All the good jerseys are changed. I mean, Indy's old jerseys with the pinstripes that
those are good too. I am happy the Magic brought theirs back, right? They added like a modern touch to them, and some of them look good. Some of the other ones I still got to get a little used to, but for the most part, happy to at least see the pinstripes back in full time.
Yeah, every single team that changed their logo, for the most part, changed it to something that, in my opinion, is a little bit inferior. Anthony Black, though, I got the rookie card patch, so I'm invested in him. I need him to be good. How good can he be?
I think he could be a very good role player. I just feel like for him to be like a true star at any point, like I don't know if he has star power potential, but in order for him to really become, I feel like to hit his potential, he has to find the outside shot. Like that's his biggest weakness. It was his biggest weakness coming out of college, out of Arkansas. All the intangibles are there. I mean, the dude's a 6'7" point guard. He can handle it. He's a fantastic defender. He can get to the rim. He's great in transition. He's athletic, solid playmaker, but just the outside shot, it is completely lacking. I mean, the dude is
right in, man.
Yeah, unfortunately so. The Magic, I remember even when they made the pick, I was like, what are we doing? Because at this point, we were still such a poor three-point shooting team. We have been for like a decade plus. I was like, why are we getting another guy? But this is right in the Magic's draft fold. Like, this is what they do. They draft length. They draft defensive versatility. They draft two-way ability. And they always just think, oh, we can fix the shot. More times than not, they have not been able to. But he's a good player. I think at the very best, I think he's going to be a really good role player. If he can at least become a league average 3-point shooter, he would be wonders for this Magic team. Because I think at some point he was drafted to be the starting point guard. Like Jalen Suggs isn't really a true point guard per se. He's better as like a 2 guard, but now you got him and Bane. They're just basically, handling the backcourt for now. I think Anthony Black will come off the bench along with Tyus Jones.
So it took about 5 minutes, but the shooting was brought up, and obviously so. This team literally looked like Sandy Lyle from Along Came Polly.
Oh my
old
God.
Crocodile Tears,
Rainmaker,
rain dance.
God,
so many bricks, man. But they bring in Desmond Bane, who I think is low key one of the better microwaves in the NBA. Is he enough? Just him adding in, and you could tell me who else they brought in to replace Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and his shooting that they lost, even though he struggled last year. But is that addition enough to bring this team from putrid to, okay, they can win an NBA championship because now they have the thing they're missing?
I think it can be because, like you mentioned, KCP, they brought him in last year to do the same thing they're asking Bane to, alleviate these 3-point shooting woes. And for whatever reason, KCP had one of his worst 3-point shootings of seasons of his career. He shot like after 3 or 4 straight years of 40%, the guy shot like 33%. He could not buy a bucket, especially in the playoffs. It was mind numbing for Magic fans. No, I think Bane, like you mentioned it, to me, he's like the second best 3-point shooter in the league besides Steph Curry. I mean, that's a pretty high mark, but he's a fantastic 3-point shooter. And not only that, he takes some of the playmaking and ball handling, rolls out of Paolo and Franz's hands. You watch those playoffs against the Celtics, the Magic were rolling out Corey Joseph at the starting point guard. Okay. Like that's what they were working with at that point with all the injuries. And Paolo and Franz basically were asked to bring the ball up every single time, initiate the offense, and they got nothing for themselves. It was just impossible. And now Bane can not only provide some outside shooting, but he can handle those playmaking duties as well. He's not just a 3-point shooter. He can get to the basket. He can hit in the mid-range. And it's not just him. I mentioned earlier, too, they added Tyus Jones. And Tyus Jones, to me, is one of the most reliable backup point guards in the league. I think he's led the league in assist-to-turnover ratio each of the past, 6-7 seasons. And he's a good 3-point shooter. I think he shot 40% or better each of the past, 3 or 4 seasons. So the addition of Bane, Jones, and I think the other big one will be Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs, when he first got in the league, struggled mightily as a 3-point shooter. And then I think it was his 3rd year, it finally came to him. He shot 39% from 3 on pretty good volume. I would say 5 or 6 threes a game. And then last year, before he got hurt, we saw a dip again. So it's which version of Suggs are we going to see? If we can see that 38, 39% version, I think the Magic got a real chance at being a true contender.
How tall is Jalen Suggs?
He's about 6'5".
Okay, I feel like because Bane is a big shooter, right? He's the best big shooter you have on the market because he's what, 6'5"?
Yeah, about the same size. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's thick.
Yeah.
He was great for Memphis, man. That 2022 Memphis team, they gave the Warriors all they could handle, man. And that team would have won an NBA championship potentially if they could have gotten past the Warriors and gotten to the Celtics. But another big dude, Tristan da Silva, seems like a smart player. I like smart players. What's the outlook on da Silva?
That's a smart take on your part.
I try to be smart, man.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Tristan da Silva, I like him as well. I thought that was a really nice pick for them in the draft. What was that, 2 years ago now? From Colorado, immediately addressed a need that the Magic had, which was 3-point shooting. Now, he didn't have a great 3-point shooting season last year as a rookie. I think he shot maybe 34%, but it wasn't terrible by any means. But when the Magic started going down with injuries and he had to take on a larger role, he had some big moments. I got to catch one of them in person. There was a game. It was in December. Paolo was out. Franz was out. I think Suggs was out. And the Celtics were pretty much at full power. I think they were only missing Tatum, but everyone else was playing. And Tristan da Silva came in, and I think he scored 18 points, and he hit essentially the game-winning 3 in the corner to put him away for good. And I thought what was really impressive was his performance in the Eurobasket over this past summer with Franz leading Team Germany to a gold. I think you mentioned just a smart kid. Reminds me of Franz a lot in that way. Similar build. They're both about 6'9", 6'10", lanky, versatile, 3-level scorer, versatile defender as well. He'll be a really nice bench piece for the Magic this year, and I think that's going to be huge. Obviously, the Magic with Bane now have a really solid starting 5. But I think the bench unit's a little slept on too. Between Tyus Jones, a really reliable point guard, we hope we can see a little big progression from Anthony Black, Tristan da Silva, and then they'll finally also get back Mo Wagner, who tore his ACL last year, unfortunately, in December. But before he went down, the Wagner boys, as Shaq likes to say. He was having a terrific season. He was averaging like a career high 13 points off the bench in like 19 minutes of game time. So he's not a great defender by any means, but offensively, Mo, he brings a lot of juice, and he brings a lot of juice and energy as well. He's kind of like Jalen. He's the bench version of Jalen Suggs for the Magic. Like, the dude is always yelling and getting other teams' faces. He's the player you want. You love to have him on your team, and you hate to play against him.
Well, shit, man. I was Cleveland's going to be my number 1 seed that I'm going to pick in the East.
Yeah,
but
I would do as well.
2, I wanted to be sneaky. And I feel like Detroit is that sneaky pick. Like, I love Cade Cunningham. Okay. I love Jalen Duren. I love that Lob City connection that they got. They bring in Duncan Robinson, who can knock down some threes. They still have Tobias Harris, who's a steady veteran. They got Ron Holland. They got Beef Stew. They got Asar Thompson. They got all these badasses that fit that Detroit mold. And they potentially have Jaden Ivey is either someone that works out there or is trade capital. Down the road to get like a Markin in or something like that if Utah wanted to get involved. So they were my 2. Magic were my 3. Okay. I think you may have talked me into Orlando, man. I mean,
there we go.
They have a squad, man. They
have a squad. Honestly, you got to think about it. Like 2 years ago, you talk about that Cavs team that you have at 1 right now. The Magic took them to 7 games in the first round 2 years ago. That was a tough 7-game series, and the Cavs really aren't all that different. I understand different coach, but for the most part, the roster was basically the same. And again, this Magic team last year, Paolo out for 2 months, Franz out for a month, Jalen Suggs missed basically 2/3 of the season, Mo Wagner missed most of the season. They still won 40-something games, and I know it was a 5-game series against the Celtics, but you watch those games, that was a tough 5-game series. Like, the Magic, at the end of the day, they have their identity, and they're always going to be defense first. And I don't think they've lost that whatsoever, even though they lost a couple guys, KCP, Cole Anthony, who else left? Caleb Houston, some other dudes. But Desmond Bane, that's why I think it's such a perfect addition, because obviously what he brings offensively is exactly what they need. But he's a solid defender as well. I don't think he's as good as KCP, but he can absolutely hold his own on the defensive end.
All right, Magic fans, thanks for tuning in. Hit that like. They equal Magic wins. If you think they're going to win a championship, hit that like and hit that subscribe. We talk about your favorite team throughout the season. If your team deserves non-biased attention, then we're going to give the teams that deserve the attention. This is not the worldwide leader where we're talking about the big markets. Even Orlando gets a spot on NBA After Dark.
Play the song, Chuck.
I think they're going to be a good team, man. I think they're going to be a good team. Kenny Morales, everyone. Thank you.